All right. Okay. So let's start. All right. Okay. So good afternoon once again. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, programmers. So welcome to our week one session. So for today, I'm going to discuss everything that we are going to discuss, everything that we are going to do in this course. And as I was looking at your profile, there are actually some of you who are taking IS and EMC, and most of you are computer science. So as I was looking at the syllabus, it's uh, it's a little bit of an IS approach. Okay, it's not a comp sci approach. Now let's walk through. Okay, so I'm going to walk through you with the way I designed the syllabus. So there's not much what they call this one. There's not much changes on the previous ones. Only that I actually do it like the IS can actually follow the CS can. I mean IS and whether whatever your course is or your program is, you can still apply the whatever concepts that we are going to discuss here. So again, so we are still in the online mode, and I would just like to inform everyone that we are still going to have a three modules, and I divided the modules in of course not I mean you have already an idea of how the modules works. So per module has 3 weeks, so module 1, 2, and 3. So if you guys want to get to review on this syllabus, actually I have already uploaded this in our our which one? This one here. Okay, I already uploaded this one here in our Blackboard Ultra. So I allow me to just give you a walkthrough on which what are the things right here, what I have included right here. So you can see here the syllabus, okay, and then the course introduction, and and also the most important thing you will need to look into is this project specifications and rubrics. Okay, so as early as now, I am going to introduce to you our projects. Okay, project specifications. Now there are PowerPoint or there are PDF that again, it might not be properly loading depending on the browser you're using. But if you guys want to have an access on it or to have a view on it, you can actually download any of this one. Okay. And I have also provided a simple website on it so that you're able to see the course information on what are the requirements, specifications, especially on the projects. Okay, so also with the rubrics. So everything is already here in your Blackboard, and with regards to the module one, I have already uploaded here. Okay, so it's and every week there are topic. By the way, if you would like to download all the PowerPoint and resources that I'm currently using, you can see it right here in the PPT and resources. So I'm using the Cornell book edition, or yeah, it's the 30th edition. And under that week, no, so it is organized in a per week basis. So that this one is per module. So let's get to see the recording. Later on, I'm gonna show you what's inside of this. Okay. But for now, what I am going to introduce to you is this one. So this one is about information management. And So there's for ComSci actually, for ComSci or computer science, um, there's actually a book that is an approach is more on a ComSci approach, which is database systems. So information management kasi is like in line with IS, in line with information technology. Kasi when we talk about database management system, there are actually a lot of approach that a teacher can actually give or deliver to students. It depends actually on the delivery. It depends on how the teacher is going uh, to deliver this course. So since this course is information management and it's actually because it's a borrowed course from IS. So because we believe that IS is parang what I'm trying to elaborate here is that IS must have mastered information management in terms of innovation, in terms of what we call this one process improvement. They'll need database systems to do that. And for the ComSci level, they uh, they are actually focused on the scripting. No, they are actually focused on how are they going to make the query faster, how to actually create a a set of queries, making a to perform a transaction in which it's actually faster than that of the others. So that's actually the focus of computer science. Okay, while in IS and EMC, they are actually focused on the design and because there are two things here in this course that after this that you are going to learn, which are number one, you will be taught how to create how to design your database from data gathering, from conceptualizing. Okay, because as we all know, it's very important for us to properly design our program well before we actually put it into a physical level, which is this time we now convert any any design or any conceptual design into a physical design, which is this time it would now have a probably a server. You will now choose a database as a server on how are you going to or what server are you going to use. Okay, so yun yung approach ng information management. So the way para we are able to to bridge the gap between these three programs, EMCIS and CS. So I have designed the courses the way I understand it better, the way I can deliver it better. So right here in the module one, we're going to focus on the data modeling. But as you are going to observe in every module that I actually uploaded in Blackboard, you will see there, I have already introduced there in the very first week. If not, I'm not mistaken. Anyway, we're going to visit it later on. In the probably week two or week one or week two, I have already introduced there structured query language, which is the language that we are going to use, which is a fourth generation language. So though we are still in the process of database design. So the module one is focused on the database design. So data modeling. How are we going to design? How are we going to conceptualize our database on in terms of managing data from an organization? So we get to interview, we get to uh, we get to observe the environment, what are the contributing factors that affects the slowlessness or sluggishness of a process. So, and that is why we are here, because we are going to provide an information systems, or shall we say a database management systems that is actually aims to make the process becomes efficient. No, so probably because they are using manual operations or transactions in their daily routines in terms of processing the business operations. However, it doesn't mean that it is manual. It is always the case that it is sluggish or it's slow. Okay, so there are actually factors or that may contribute to the slowish parang ang pag slow, no, why the process is too slow to handle uh, processes or probably mga transactions. Okay, so in week 1 we are going to focus on what is database environment, what are the processes um, under it, and then the types of databases as well as the SDLC, which is in preparation of your of core DIS, no, and EMC on the systems analysis and design. As actually I was reviewing ComSci curriculum, you don't have SAD, so that's what I have told you about, though. So because this one is in preparation of systems analysis and design for EMC and IS people, but for ComSci, though you don't have systems analysis and design, but you have application and development or app dev. So probably whatever you're going to learn from here will be applied to the succeeding courses also. So as you can see, there are deliverables that you will need to submit. So submission of deliverable 1, submission of deliverables 2 and 3, and so on and so forth. So later on, I'm gonna be giving you what are these deliverables that you will need to submit every module or every week. Okay? So dapat dili ta mag-idle because that will hamper you from proceeding to the next deliverable. And the way I designed this is that it's like a puzzle that whenever no you already have or submitted or finished or accomplished the deliverable 1, then you will need to proceed to the next deliverable. So we are actually going to follow the systems development life cycle, which is a waterfall model in such a way that it's always going to it's waterfall from the word itself. No, the cycle should be in a so meaning there's phases. There are phases, and every phase must be done before proceeding to the next phase. Okay, though there are hybrid models, like of course there are iterative models, but we don't discuss it here. Okay, we only discuss the model that is going to fit on the information management. So right here in the modeling tool, that's the time now we get to create our own business rules. So the business rules that I am referring here are not the business rules that yeah, it includes the business operations of a certain organization, but that does not mean all. Okay, so we're going to extract the the whatever information that we gathered now from the organization or from a company, and then create our own business rules. Okay, and that's the basis for creating data models. And after creating data models, that's the time we are going now to convert it into logical level, which is from conceptual level to logical level. You are now going to convert it into an ERD, or shall we call it entity relationship diagram. Okay, so we are going to discuss the relational databases here. So I'm going to introduce to you two notations, which are the Chen notation, invented or created by Peter Chen, and crossput notation, which is Ted Cuff. I guess if I'm not if I could parang ma-remember na ako. Okay? So historically sila tong mga tao that actually created or who actually created these notations. Okay? So that's the module 1. So far, any question?
Question, sir.
Yes.
Um, For the related for the database, meron lahat ng tutorial videos, no?
Yes, I have actually I have already uploaded it there in BB Ultra. Uh, but
Pero
again,
in the
yeah.
past, oh, by the
But
way,
of course, pardon.
in the past weeks po, meron ng ano po, yung SQL, no?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I have. So that's why I'm going to explain it later on. Now, although we're still in the module one, I am going to, the approach should be like this. So since flexible the approach is like this, though we are still in the design phase. So this is actually the design phase of systems development life cycle, which is, I mean, the module one is still on the phase 1 to 3, no? So which we are going to discuss probably later, no? Or actually there's there in the PowerPoint what are actually the phases of systems development life cycle. So what I'm trying to elaborate here is that though we are still in the process of designing our database, I already um introduced to you the SQL, which are seen here in video recording. So in the video recording, I have here um, posted the video tutorial that I made that might help you along the way in creating or what they call this one in creating your database or designing your database into physical level. By the way, this we are going to use MySQL. So because MySQL is an open source uh, it's an open source application or software for storing data. Okay, though we can use MS SQL, so or Oracle, but Oracle is it's a lot expensive, so I don't have uh, it's a proprietary software. Same with MS SQL, but MySQL is actually a free. No, it's an open source application. So which is you will be actually downloading or you'll need to install XAMPP, no, or SAM. Okay, so I have here discuss what is XAMPP and how do you create data tables through PHP and of course I'm also going to discuss it during our session, not only during not only because it's already posted there. I'm not going to discuss it personally sa inyo ha, no, during our synchronized session. So in the modeling data organization, I have here also a and it's a lot, no? So yeah, so you will just need to there are actually a lot of things you need to do in this course. So this is the way I can actually compress the topics. Okay, so there for ComSci thing, since we are a mix of ComSci, IT, and IS and EMC. For ComSci thing, this is for you. So everything we do is in command line interface, but I'm not saying you don't do it in user interface or in or using PHP my admin, but it would be beneficial for a ComSci to at least no for familiarize SQL statements, especially the data definition language under that category, no. So at least you're able to appreciate what it takes to be a database designer without user interface design. So everything is discussed here. So from creating your database, creating the table, creating, altering a column, inserting records, deleting records. This is actually most likely ang pinakataas rin na lang sa 17 minutes. Most likely na average na siya sa 7 7 minutes or 7 to 10 minutes per video. So, gidesign ako siya na para dili siya boring. Okay, and of course in the module 3, I mean in the week 3, there's also another set of videos that you can actually watch. Okay, if you don't want to watch the videos I made, I don't there's no compelling force here. I mean, you can have your own resources. You can, if you have already followed uh, Indian people or someone in the YouTube, you can actually do it. I mean, you can actually watch the videos there. I mean, dito pwede ka dito rather than sa ako ang tutorials. Okay? All right, so that is for module 1, week 1 to week 3. It's already there, prepared na everything, as well as every formative assessment. Okay, there are also step-by-step instructions in on how you actually do your thing. Okay, so you don't need to worry because whenever this is actually prepared ready for those people who are students who are lazy. And as we all know in ComSci and IT and EMC, according to not Steve Jobs, but according to Steve Jobs, he likes people who are lazy. Okay, because they look for alternative way to make it like faster, efficient. No, so most of the times the smart people, intelligent people are lazy. Do you believe in that? Okay. So this is prepared ready for those who doesn't want to join in our synchronous session. So this is for you. Okay. There are resources available for you already. Now let's go back to our module 2. So this is the time we supposed to be the SQL is introduced, but I already make it introduce na ako siya in module 1. However, the difference between module 1 SQL is this the SQL that I have introduced there are not relational SQL. Okay, they are still flat files. So in the module 2, that's the time. This is now the ideal, no, SQL. So when we say ideal, relational SQL na siya. Okay, na kani siya pang ano lang, no, pang ano lang impression, parang merienda lang to ng mga SQL. And then right here sa module 2, this is now the main dish. So you will be these are now the uh, parang what shall I say, the relational SQL. Okay, so as you can see also there are deliverables, no, 5 and 6 submissions, then 7.1 to 7.4. So every week there are deliverables. So and then the module 3, this is for us to apply or implement the SQL to a certain language. So I will be using VB.NET, C Sharp, and Java for this now. So I have already prepared a tutorial for that. But in terms of video, naana pero sa VB pa lang. So that's how we that is just for us to apply, but you are not limited to those programming language. No, so to those programming languages rather, you can have your own. So these are the deliverables I have told you about. Okay. So again, everything right here, everything we do here is all ready. In case that and the event of no mawala na kong kalit because nasakit di ay or something like that. So get ready na nako daan tanan ang courses for you para you will not become like mag-idle. Okay? So before we proceed with our deliverables, any questions so far with the topics per module?
I have a question.
Yes po.
So module 1 is basic fundamentals for before discussing about the SQL.
Yeah, it's just a parang how do I say this? It's not yet the ideal SQL, not the way the SQL should be done, something like that. It's in the module 2, the proper way on how to really write SQL. I mean, okay na siya, no? I mean, kasi in the module 1, the SQL that I have introduced there are just intended for like mura lang siya og file systems, which we actually refer it as flat files. It doesn't have relationship, or it doesn't have like when we talk about databases, kasi it is composed of database objects, composed of tables which are logically related with each other. And the only way for us to relate every single record to another record is you'll have to establish a connection between the tables. Okay, so that's actually the idea of relational database. So way back, mga ano kasi historically, wala pa ng relational databases. So kato pang mga network model, mga OOD model, so mga inana pa siya na model, but not in a way that it is represented through entity relationship model or diagram. So basically, whatever you will be learning from Module 1 are just in preparation of for Module 2. And again, I would encourage everyone to do it in command line interface in CLI rather than heading directly to PHP My Admin. Though I also introduced it there in the video tutorial on how to create database table in using graphical user interface, which is PHP My Admin. Of course, I will not parang dili na ko na ikadalo sa inyo sa Bisaya pa. So at least you have the option in the future in terms of like naanatay rapid application development. Of course, you don't settle on command line, but later on you will appreciate the approach of command line interface, because you're like a pro, no? Mura kag pro na mag invoke og SQL statement using command line interface. Okay, so anyway, we'll just appreciate it along the way. So yeah, these are the project deliverables. Rather, I'm talking about every module. So it's also discussed. Ideally, dapat naamoy company. So what is that company? It could be not company na company. Pwede ra siya organization, office. Okay, so ideally dapat inaana tong buhaton in this course. Like you'll need to really go outside of our school and look for a company to study, no? Like you get to study the organization's processes, what are the parang processes nila, what are their way of data handling, how do they manage the records. So dapat supposedly in ana ang idea, but this time it's only if you cannot do that, since due to the challenges, no, that we are in kasi pandemic. So pwede sa fabricated ang inyong company, pwede sa fabricated inyong organization. Only that the problem is you don't really get the real data, and you don't get the real transactions. That's the pitfall or the drawbacks there. Okay, but if you could like look for an organization, or you have your parents has an office, like doing inventory, but they're still using manual, uh, doing POS or point of sales, and they're still using calculator and manual, and those things related na manual. So you can actually study that organization and then observe, interview, get a survey, and then what are the problems, no? So the basis of why we are providing a solution is because we have the empathy. We are like parang naluoy sa transaction, no, sa manual processes na uh, it's really slow, no? The process is really slow, and here I am I have the idea on how to make it like faster or efficient. So I am going to propose you with this one. But before you can propose something, you'll have to you'll have to pinpoint the problems. So this is about company hopping. Okay? So ayan. So with the assessment, it's the assessment this will you will know here kung asa siya particularly parang alat or ma-designate, no? So sa recording sa inyong grades. Okay? And then after that, you cannot come up business rules if you don't have if you don't do this what they call this one deliverable one, and then you cannot also come up with 3 4 if you don't do 1 and 2, also with 5 6 7 8 and 9. So everything is related, logically related. That's why it's a waterfall model where you'll need to finish first the one, the deliverable one, next the two, the three, so on and so forth. It's like creating a building or building a building or constructing a building, no? That you will need to plan well first ko kung how many stories pila ka stories na pila ka story na siya na building, pila ka elevators, unsa ba siya glass, so dili siya na like in the middle of the construction you just decided na okay instead na 50 story putlo na lang ako siya with like 30 story because dili de siya pwede rin sa Davao City because below sea level, so you don't do that in the planning. So we can do that here in I mean computer applications, but it would compromise the delivery of the project. Kumbaga, there are actually a lot of things na ma-sacrifice, like or ma-waste cost, time, effort, and of course, the data, especially if there are already data that are put in or there are already data that are stored in your database. So probably ang mahitabo is you really start from scratch, from the beginning, and you will experience also that one. If in the middle, proceed mo himo og database, himuan na yung table, nag-relate na mo, and then eventually you have found out rather na you're missing at bisan isa lang na ka column or just missing one column for a table or two columns for a table, it will really affect the entire project. So that's how problematic it is. That's how it can be parang it can make it worse sa project na to. Okay? So, yan. And then deliverable 10 is application development. This is not okay, dili ta mo ano na, this is not a full-blown app dev. This is just in preparation of how you can actually apply SQL, okay, in a how are we going to connect, okay, our database to a certain or specific language. So we are only dealing with CRUD, but of course if we do have like time, no, if we are given enough time or ample time to do this, of course mas okay kung naatay transactions, but let's only limit our ano into CRUD, especially because atong setup sa classes. Okay? So ayan. So you will anyway, don't worry. I'm going to get every now and then i-remind mo with the deliverables. So this one's Kanishana file, it's already uploaded there. So you can get to visit this one and i-review ninyo. Also, the project synopsis. So the same with what we do in data structure. So by the way, related siya sa data structures in a way that katong sa data structures, you are taught to on different data handling, how you can actually make faster program or choosing lang, but sa algorithm complexity kato na pong ipapaspason na jud ninyo inyong algo, which is of course you have a separate topic on that. Now right here sa databases, of course this is the product of what you have learned in data structures. So kung unsa man tong mga data structures concepts na apply na to diri sa database, okay, so which is unsa tong mga you don't like in sa data structures na limitations na answer na to diri sa database. Okay? So ayan, just you are going to do this one. So introduction, data collection and analysis, database design. So at chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. No, mura namang naghimo og thesis, pero baby thesis lang siya. Okay? And there are also presentation and rubrics. I'm still planning if unsa ba atong buhaton ani basin ma video ta, pero hopefully by next next year malift na ang sani para we could meet in person and maka-defense na ta, like personal na maka-defense. I'm going to invite probably one person lang to sit in as a panel. And there's also project output rubrics here, and the checklist on kato sa video, no, gi-copy lang to na ako sa DSA. And then for the if na-align ba siya sa PEO at ang gibuhat nato, and also with the relationship in the CO of that PEO. Okay, so this is the project deliverables, synopsis, and the content of your projects. Okay, so question. What else do
Hello,
I?
sir.
Yes.
For ano, sir, ba, for the programming, for the language, it's not necessary na MySQL, di ba? Pwede din, ibang SQL languages like SQLite, ganun.
Pwede, pero ang SQLite kasi, it's only intended for
Offline.
ano, sa mga mobile kasi, no, kanang gamay lang na data ang i-handle. So I would suggest na you will learn MySQL. So okay, magyapon. Anyway, SQL is a fourth generation language, whether what language you're actually using or SQL server you're using, whether it is MS SQL, MySQL. I tell you, they are all similar. Actually, I learned MySQL, but I actually took exam on MS SQL sa Microsoft, and luckily I still passed because most of the SQL statements are just the same. Pero there are a few na dili the same. Pero it's just a matter of syntax lang, or the parang symbol na gigamit. So yeah, you can use any other like SQLite. You can use MS SQL. If you have the Oracle, you can use that. But I'm going to, of course, focus on the MySQL because aside from it's free, and that's what I can actually deliver the most and mas well off ko. Okay, MS SQL will do, but MS SQL kasi is it's also proprietary. So there's nothing wrong with proprietary. However, proprietary, you'll need to purchase man ano. Pero in terms of for the purpose of education, pwede man nimo dili siya paliton, di ba? Okay. But again, similar lang si MS SQL and MySQL. Nalan joy gamay kaayo na medyo changes lang sa syntax for some, but for most of the SQL scripts, the same halos. Like sa insert, the same. Sa delete, the same. Sa mga DDL lang na ay delete kaayo, the same. Okay? So, did I answer your question, Ray? Ikaw ba to, Ray?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, any questions so far?
Another question, sir.
Yes po.
Sa di ba, mag-app dev, sir, can we use UI, sir?
Yes. What do you mean UI? Like mag-jump,
GUI, sir.
Ano daw?
Mag-GUI, sir.
Opo, yes. Mag-GUI ta.
Then, dili lang siya limited to C# Java, sir, no?
Dili po siya. Pero mauto ako introduce lang para kasi rapid lang man good siya, rapid development pag like sa Java ug sa at least sa Java medyo dugay, pero sa C# or sa at least sa .NET mas dali kasi event driven siya, drag and drop, so mas dali siya. mas
So,
rapid siya. So mao to ko introduce. The idea there is ma-connect lang nato, makahimo tag module like pwede na ready siya na mahimong API and then ma-apply niyo to different language. I guess probably pwede siya na. Kasi MySQL man ato ang gamiton, so tapos it's still the same ang idea or approach whichever language you're going to use, whether it is PHP, whether it is other programming language, the same lang gihapon kasi it's just a matter of I mean MySQL gihapon atong gamiton, and then the what they call this one, the back end is MySQL, and then the front end is it doesn't matter kung anong front end, basta ang idea there is ano na to, we have the back end, okay, atong back end, and then we can choose any front end. Okay?
okay, sir. Then, ano din, sir, like, for desktop lang din dapat yung UI or pwede din for mobile.
Pwede rin for mobile. Pero kasi kung sa mobile, no, ang ano magod sa mobile is Firebase, ilang mga database, mag-SQLite, inaana na siya. So, pwede gyapon. So, walay problem na siya.
So, pwede mag-Firebase, sir?
Pwede, basta ma-apply ninyo inyong SQL, ma-apply ninyo to inyong gihimo na katong sa deliverable. Kay ang importante dire na your kani, if you do so, then you can, so as long as ma-apply ninyo ni, di ba? This is the parang virtue of kanang autonomy ba, no? I am not going to force one thing that I know na i-delimit lang tamo because that's the only thing I know. So dili man ana ang teaching, no? So dili man inana ang ako ang pedagogy of teaching, dili man ana akong principles of education. So we are unique and we are actually different. So there are things that you know that I do not know, and there are things that I know that that you don't know. So, and the things that I know, moto ako ang that I can probably share and based sa akong mga na-experience, so pwede na where I can actually parang mas dako ang akong ma-share. So, mao na akong i-introduce sa inyo ha. As long as wala ta nalayo sa ato ang syllabus or sa curriculum.
Sige, sir. Salamat.
Okay po. All right. Any question so far? Yes, Datu, Anwaruddin, Piang.
Sir, solo po yung mga projects, sir. Yung mga deliverables.
Pardon po?
Solo yung sir, yung mga
Yes po.
deliverables.
Yes. Oo.
Okay, sir.
Solo po siya. Para kasi ganahan mo ko ng team effort, no, pero pag teams kasi uban anak ka ng sagbot-sagbot ano na ipakapin na lang sa bubot ba kung sa Bisaya pa. So kung pwede sa karon maanad mo na ang individual siya, and then eventually pag abot sa mga research projects ninyo sa higher years, everyone is everyone is already parang knowledgeable in a way na makakontribute siya sa group or sa team, no? Kaysa maanad og sige lag team from first year, second year nag-team, tapos pag abot third year team na pod, and then medyo naka-experience ko na abot og fourth year team, and then ang ending dili tanan members in a team doing well, no, wala kayo ma-contribute. So kumbaga we cannot get rid of people who took advantage or who are actually going to take advantage of the team. I know you understand that. No, I know you have experienced that for sure, no, sa inyong status karon or sa inyong stages karon. Yes, James. Yeah, before Piang, did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, James.
I have to leave now, sir, kasi may synchronous session from 2 to 3, which is professional issue in information systems
Yeah.
namin.
Okay. Actually, we're about to finish. I mean, tapos na tapag, wala na questions. So you guys have you guys have questions?
Wala, sir.
Okay. So again, the most of the tutorials, most of the topics are already there. Ang ako na lang i-discuss during our synchronous session probably unsa tong wala na sabtan, and of course walking through on especially the database design. Mao tong pinaka-importante, and which is kailangan nako to siya og like synchronous session na ma-discuss nako to siya, because sa database design, did you know that you can learn SQL that easily. You can learn SQL that quickly, pero dili ang database design, kasi it really requires practice and experience, and kailangan siya og kailangan jud siya nato istoryahan, no. Like what this is the least we can do daw, so kailangan natong inani siya while we are discussing it. Okay, so kasi logical kayo siya. Okay, so any questions so far?
None so far.
Wala na. Si James, wala na. How about si Pat? Hi, Pat. Wala. Okay. So that means a yes na lang siguro. So Hernan,
Wala na, sir.
Adrian,
Ano, sir?
okay, wala. Okay. So Ria, Patricia Ann, duha man day si Pat, no? Si Patricia Ann and Patricia Go. Patricia, duha pod. My goodness, duha day ni kabok. Patricia Villarosa and Patricia Go. I'm so sorry. So duha day ka Pat. Hello Pat. Hello Pat 1 and Pat 2. And Tyra L. Do you have question?
Wala naman po, sir.
Wala. Okay. So I'm looking forward to again once again di I know welcome to our class, and happy to meet you again in different course, no dili sa same course. So I'm so excited to on your projects, and of course on the things that we are going to do in this project in this course. Okay, so I guess we call it a day. Have a great day ahead and see you guys next week. Oh yeah, by the way, unsay prefer ninyo na klase nato? Okay na mo aning alauna,
Okay naman sa akin, sir.
pero di man gud ni voice of majority, no? So pero ako alauna, ako ang decision both duha ka sections. IM katong isa ka section og inyuhang section, i-merge na lang ta mo para isa na lang ta. In a way, you are like more or less 40 lang man siguro ka people, so kaya ra nato na i-handle.
By the way,
So,
sir, every Tuesday.
that I still get to decide kung every Tuesday. Sige lang announce lang pod ko sa inyo ha, if every Tuesday or Wednesday. So pero pinaka probability ana is Tuesday.
Sana naman, sir, pareho na lang sa DSA.
Pwede,
Subject.
no? We can negotiate it. Okay, so I guess we call it a day. Thank you guys for joining our class, this session rather. Have a great day ahead. And again, if you want to to study in advance, naana dito sa BB Ultra. Okay, and see you guys next week. And I'll just have to finalize the schedule. So have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Have a great day, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bless po.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.